Captain Matt here with the Lighting Trade School podcast. Glo Daddy Shane Duffy, the Illuminator Nate Mullen. Boys, how are you doing?
Any better? I think I'd be you, Matt.
All right. Shane, you have one of those freaking balloon animal things behind you?
Yeah, it is. You have a business as a balloonist once, and your family remembers it forever. So yeah, it's like a little little sparkly balloon animals. And I regret ever telling the story on how I made balloons as a business because people remember it.
Oh, so is that one that you made?
No, but I did. I did one party, right? I called myself a balloonist. I was probably 10 or 11 years old, but like I started this little business making balloon animals. Bought my little thing, and I could make a worm, a dog, a poodle, a giraffe, a horse, a goat. Basically, all the same frame with longer necks or longer legs.
I can make a hot dog, a balloon, a post, right?
It's just a straight line,
a
level,
straight, right? A level,
a sword without a handle,
a banana,
classic.
Yeah.
So they got me. One of the family members found that, just bought it for Christmas, and thought it was funny.
So let me ask you this, Shane. You said you did one party.
Yes.
And
I was either 10, 11, or 12. I was,
right.
Business, a balloon business. I was just trying to make money.
It's kind of funny. Did you have a business card? So the reason I asked that, I have probably started, I don't even know, I'll say 20 businesses, and that's probably very close to true. And so in my office, I have 20 business cards literally framed, right? Different businesses that I've started and stopped. And it's really funny how when you look at, let's say 18 were failures or 17 were failures for sure. And how you set yourself up for failure, right? And all the time and energy and money I spent on some of those fucking companies, because some of them I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands, right? Some of them I spent maybe 1,000 or 2,000, but some of them a tremendous amount of money. And I set myself up from failure from day fucking one.
Yeah, that's like the first one I started, probably about 10, 11. I was selling books on the side of the road, and these books were just ones that my parents had.
Oh my God, go. Oh,
and
this is awesome.
And I was doing pretty well.
Awesome.
And then so I learned everyone who stopped and bought, everyone who was actually buying the books was a barber. So then I just started going to hit all the barber shops. I made decent money, but then I ran out of books.
Well, okay. So I have a library at my house. I love books. So I started out going door to door, pretending I was a Boy Scout, which I never was, saying, hey, we're doing a book drive, and I'd like to, if you have any books to donate. So I started getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books, started collecting them for myself because I love books, and then started to do the same thing. Started selling all the excess of books that I didn't want on the street corner. But that's how I acquired books, just going asking for donations.
Books, got your books. Come on.
It was a different world back then. There wasn't the iPhones and the iPads, right?
Oh, yeah. But it's so funny how, I didn't even really remember that until you brought that story up. Some of the shit we did when we were young, little entrepreneurs, right?
I think we probably learned a shit ton. Like, even if we didn't know we were learning at the time, right? Little tips and tricks you're asking for people for money at a young age, that gets ingrained on you. I think that's why it's a little easier. If you ask guys, hey, what have you, done before this? If you're looking to get into lighting or looking to get in any business, and you can usually see that common theme of a guy who's like a serial entrepreneur. There's that one story or probably multiple stories. One point I wanted to be an ice cream man who flew a helicopter and dropped out ice cream people. You know what? Now they're doing it with drones. So I was ahead of my time. Ahead of my fucking time.
Yeah, so I think the one thing we learned, which is, working hard, obviously, right? Getting up. I had paper routes, we were super poor. So I had 2 morning paper routes too. So even through, 7th, 8th grade, I would have to get up at 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I would have to get up at, 2:30 in the morning, go fucking pedal my bicycle with fucking canvas bags, right? Earlier in the morning, I had 2 routes.
Wizard
But
of Oz shit.
but the one thing I will tell you is people sometimes, we've all heard this saying, which I heard this a long time ago, was right. Oh my God, you must have gotten lucky, right? You get lucky, and people don't realize that the harder you work, the more luck you get, right? Lazy motherfuckers never get lucky for the most part, unless they're that one in a billion that won a lotto. But you
And they're
you
usually
more
broke
luck,
by the end of the year.
right? You want more fucking luck, right? Work harder.
I remember Nate saying, and I've always remembered it. Nate said, $20 is $20.
That was a whole different conversation.
I still remember it.
Hey, just so you know, I raised my fucking prices. 35 is 35 now. Okay.
Damn inflation.
With a tip, it's 50. So it's really 50 is 50. $50 is $50.
Oh man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of $50 and making money, today we're going to talk about what us three who deal with a lot of guys in outdoor lighting, why they never really succeed, why they never even hit that 100K mark and beyond. So we'll kind of round robin what we've seen. But first, we do still have a few spots left for our February training with the Three Amigos live in San Marcos, California. It's going to be badass, led by the Illuminator himself. And of course, Glo Daddy and Captain Matt. And by Glo Daddy, I mean Glo Show Shane. I'm sorry. He changed his nickname on me. Super pumped for that. Lightingtradeschool.com. Sign up. It's going to be badass.
And Matt, did you change the website so everybody knows the website lightingtradeschool.com used to say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We've now added a free 4th day, so it's Tuesday. So just be aware of that. So when you're making flight arrangements, you're flying in on Monday to be able to be showing up on Tuesday.
Let's say I have. All right.
Perfect.
So
good deal.
Guys getting into lighting. We see it so often, right? I see it personally a lot with Christmas guys. Make a fuck ton of money in Christmas. They want to do lighting all year. They try out landscape lighting and try out, should probably be air quotes, they don't do much. Then I have other guys, and obviously Shane sees guys from our industry getting in. And I will just say the one thing I see right off the rip from a Christmas guy going into full-time lighting guy is, and I know Christmas guys hate to hear this, but Christmas is easy compared to other sales, because we all know sales revolves around like timing, sense of urgency, a call to action, and all of that is built in for you in Christmas. You don't need to say a thing. The world does it for you. Thanksgiving is coming, Christmas is coming. So what I see is how easy it is. You can be really shitty and get Christmas work, but then if you bring that same shittiness over to landscape lighting, you just will not get it. It's not, hey, I pick up the phone and I get a job, which you can get for Christmas without ever leaving the office, without knowing anything what the fuck you're doing. You can close it on the phone. Landscape lighting, I've seen, you cannot do that. There's no sense of urgency. They build no value. So that's the biggest thing I see from Christmas guys getting into landscape lighting. Shane, what's one huge thing when you think of guys who don't make it in landscape lighting? What's the one thing that comes to mind right off the top of your head?
The first thing that comes off the top of my head is their inability to fail, which kind of goes back to like what Nate was just saying, having 20 businesses, 17 of them failed. I don't think most folks are just run into a building that's on fire, right? Just to pull people out. Like, you just don't know the outcome. They're unwilling to try and test new things. They're unwilling to lose money and lose time, unwilling to make a decision, and maybe it's a bad decision.
I like from the one book, Rework, right? A bad decision is better than indecision, right? We can all get stuck there. What about Nate? Same thing to you. Same question.
Well, first of all, yeah, I got some comments, but first of all, that's another topic. a bad decision is better than no decision. I can tell you, I've made some bad decisions that cost me fucking a shitload of money. I wish I had made no decision. So I don't think I agree with that goddamn statement. Holy shit!
I'm doing that true 100% of the time.
Well, it's in
my
context,
God.
right? It's in
I mean, I
context.
know I shouldn't have gone to that strip club, but
Yes.
Jesus Christ, what was I supposed to do? But anyway, so
I was like,
I
oh,
mean,
guy.
so I think, indecision, right, is I think when I look at the failures I've had, it wasn't for a lack of money. Okay. Not one failure I ever had was a lack of money. The failures always stem from the same thing, that I never had enough time to dedicate myself into that sideline business. Because everyone, I will just say, those 17 failures, none of them were a core business. So when I started my landscape lighting career, which was January 1st of 1990, it's because I got fucked for $2 million, right? On December 18th of 1989, I got hit for $2 million. I used to have a massive electrical contracting company, over 100 and some employees, and I did work, all the electrical, for the 23rd biggest builder in the United States at that time. Well, he went bankrupt and fucked everybody. So I decided to be a lighting guy. I quit electrical contracting. And the reason I quit electrical contracting was because I knew that on a day-to-day basis, that phone would ring and I'd have to put out a fire in construction. Someone doesn't show up. Something has happened. And my whole life gets, it gets resolved around me answering the phone, and the phone, directs what I'm going to do that day. So I quit. I quit electrical contracting. And if I didn't get up every day and focus on how do I generate a lead, how do I go do landscape lighting, that business would have been a failure. When I started Unique Lighting in July of 1995, I quit contracting, 100% walked away from it, gave the company to my brother, because I knew that if I didn't get up every day and dedicate myself to Unique Lighting, that would be a failure. So the 15, 17 businesses that were failures were side businesses. I put money into them. I couldn't hire the right people. I didn't have enough time to give the company enough direction, because I was focused on Unique Lighting. I was focused on my electrical contracting business. I was focused on some other things, right? Now, that being said, I owned Coin Laundry Rooms for 15, 20 years, and I made a lot of money on that, but there was nothing to do. I hired an outside fucking rep company to service the things. All I did was collect the money twice a month, right? So that was a success, because it required zero attention. So
that brings up a great question I have for you guys, though. So Nate, you put in the effort to Unique Lighting beyond anything else, beyond off-road warehouse, all this stuff. Why did you choose Unique Lighting? Because let's be real, you could have done anything. You could have done line voltage, you could have done fucking off-roading, you could have done headphones, you could have done vapes, you could have done anything, but you chose Unique Lighting in the landscape lighting world. Why? What led you to that? Was it just, oh, this is the easiest thing to make money in, I'm going to stay here?
no. So when so it stemmed from me being a lighting contractor. A company was called Illumination, which I started January 1st of 1990. And it's because I had always messed around with lighting. Obviously, it was mercury vapor, high voltage, Malibu kits, a lot of color with the Malibu kits. And I always enjoyed it. So I don't know, did 3, 4, 5 jobs a year, loved it. Everybody was super happy, made money at it. So when I decided, I was so burned out and devastated by losing $2 million, that I said, I'm fucking done. So I wanted to do a career change. And I loved landscape lighting. And so I just went out to a lot of people I knew that had money and just started, gave them good deals, right? Which I said, I did 10 jobs first 3 weeks, and then that got me rolling. So what happened is, back in those days, not to try to get this down to 60 seconds, we had halogen, not LEDs, massive voltage drop. So it was impossible to use low voltage back in the day without getting power to the light bulb. So I invented the multi-tap transformer. I invented all kinds of shit, and people started recognizing what I was doing. So I started selling product. I started making my well lights and selling them. I started making my transformers and selling them. I thought, fuck, this is badass. Maybe I'll become a real manufacturer. So that's when I started Unique Lighting. became a real manufacturer. But, you know, hey, I mean, without 100% focus, without 80 hours, I mean, because if you're thinking you're going to start a fucking company and not work fucking 80 hours a week, you're on fucking crack, right? Because if you, I mean, everybody has to put the time and effort and the desire in, and that's 80 hours a fucking week,
So
right?
would you say that you were more passionate about outdoor lighting? That's why you stuck with it? It wasn't, you didn't know if you were going to make money, right? And when you went into Unique, you had, oh, people are asking me, but it was more for passion that you loved the industry.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of answers right there. I mean, yes, I love the industry. Yes, I love the interaction, right? I did it really for more of an exit strategy. I mean, you know, because when you have a when you when you do a business like I was, and I was not a commodity. I was a lighting artist. I sold everything I did based upon my artistic ability to do lighting portraits. So the company was really my company. So it wasn't sellable, if you will, because it was my name. Like an artist, I was an artist, right? So what's the value of that? I walk away. It's not sellable. So I really did it because I had so much patented and innovation that it was easy for me to make the decision that I had something that nobody else had. So I had a better mousetrap. Now, I didn't realize the amount of effort and work it was going to take to put into that company,
Mm.
right? 3 years without a fucking paycheck, working 80, 100 hours a week, traveling all over the United States, really worked hard. 3 years without a paycheck. So that tells you how much fucking money I made for the 5 years previous that I was a lighting contractor, right? 3 years I
Sure.
did not take a paycheck. But I didn't realize it was going to be hard. If I realized it was going to be that hard, I probably would have kept landscape lighting. But,
Mm.
you know, hey, I worked hard, very successful company, sold it to Toro. But yeah, no, I love landscape lighting, which is why I'm back in it right now. So I think, you know, that's that whole moral of all that 7 or 8 minutes is you have to be dedicated, right? I don't know very many people, especially when they're starting, right, businesses that can do more than one business at a time. Nobody. You're not Elon Musk, right? He shouldn't be an inspiration to you. There's one Elon Musk he has a photographic memory. He requires no sleep. He's a fucking alien, right? You can't reproduce what he is. He is the one and only, right?
Mhm.
But he has smart people around him. But when he does something, he goes all in. When he decides to do SpaceX, he goes all in. He couldn't hire any scientist from NASA. He couldn't get Russia to sell him the rockets, which was his plan for SpaceX. So he fucking reads books and he understands how to build a fucking rocket ship. Who can do that? Nobody,
All
right?
right. So,
So
yeah,
you
you
know,
know, your little thing about saying if I knew it was going to be that much work, I probably wouldn't do it. I used to keep in my wallet a little sticky note, and it was, you know, the greatest feats are accomplished by those too stupid to know they're impossible. Right. So, if we were smart enough to know how much work that would have taken, you probably would have been like, fuck that lighting, you
well,
know, layout
yeah,
contracting.
well,
It's
yeah,
true.
and
Guys
I
are
was well, and I was in it. So I mean, I decided. I mean, did I ever think about quitting? Absolutely, I never did. Right? You know, I just kept pushing forward because I was going to be successful, and I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Right? So I kind of say that in jest that if I knew it was going to be that hard, maybe I wouldn't have done it. Right? And I don't know that answer. So I'm saying that in jest. Is
Right.
it true or not? But
Sure.
all I know is I made a commitment, and it takes desire, will, ambition, hard work. And I don't see that with landscape lighting because most people, right, do it as a sideline business or a hustle. They think it's going to be easy. And it's really not easy. You know, people wake up every day and you want to be a plumber? Fuck, anybody could be a fucking plumber because when the fucking shit gets clogged up in the toilet, the phone rings. Hey, can you come
Mm.
over and unclog my toilet? Okay. There are built in fucking wants out there, right? Typically no one's waking up going, fuck, I got to get landscape lighting put in, right? I mean, yes, that does happen, but it's not like a broken garage door. It's not like a fucking clogged toilet, right?
A
It's
broken
not like
window,
my
a
broken
heating.
window. My roof is fucking leaking. My air conditioner doesn't work. I need brakes on the fucking cars. Those service industries are built in fucking, you got automatic lead generators,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, so I see the failure of people not hitting a very high bar is their lack of determination, will, and their focus.
Grit.
Awesome. Shane, okay, you just said what came to your top of your head. We're both involved with guys, and maybe they do 100 fixtures a year. Well, actually, let's define it before I ask you this question. What is considered a good year, your first year in landscape lighting? Well, I know it all depends, but let's say I'm a full-time guy. I've got 8 months this year. What would hey, yeah, clearly based on your sales, I know you're out there working. What do you think that would be? Like, what kind of fixtures?
Man, I think that's defined so different by everybody, right? It's different for a 40-year-old versus a 20-year-old. It's different for someone who has business experience and is starting a business on their own. It's different for someone who has a part-time job. So I don't think I would maybe just a blanket answer. I think most people would consider themselves success if they could pay themselves a 6-figure income from their business.
First year, first 8 months.
And that may be a bit ambitious, but yeah, I think, if I can make $100,000, whatever I got to do to make that would be a successful first year.
Okay. So is that what we want to go with? 100K in your own pocket, a successful first year. Nate, you agree with that as our benchmark for this convo?
So I think, I think that is a very attainable number as $100,000, and if you break that down and you said, well, how do I make $100,000? Because I just hate throwing numbers out there, right? Without just throwing a number out there. Well, how could you do that? Is that attainable? So if you said, I like to use the number $100 a light, you could ratchet up, right? $100 a light. If you can't make $100 a light, you're not going to be in this business. So 100 divided by 100,000, right? It's a pretty easy fucking number, right? That's 1,000 lights, right? So 1,000 lights divided by 50 weeks a year, right?
Right.
20
You're
lights
saying
fucking
100 and just to be clear for the audience, right? You're saying 100 in net profit.
Yeah, net in your pocket, net. That gets you your $100,000 a year. So 1,000 lights divided by 50 is 20 lights a week. So is that an attainable number? 20 lights a fucking week? My God, you're pathetic if you can't do 120 lights a week, right?
I'd say let's ratchet that up to 30 because you do have costs, right? You're not just, especially we're talking first year. I got no truck, no ladder, no nothing.
No, I'm talking $100 in your pocket.
Right? Maybe you
in your pocket.
50, maybe you charge $100. Nate's just saying, after labor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Net.
Net. You're charging $250 a light, $175 a light, $350 a light, whatever the fuck you're charging, right?
So $100
in your pocket
is
net.
Well,
that's hey, tune in to podcast 42. We talk about net versus GP. So, but anyway, so to ratchet that down, $100,000, is that difficult to do when 20 lights a week does that? Fuck no. When I started right, my goal, Shane, was to make $2,000 a day. That was my goal. 20 lights a day, $2,000 a day. That was my target from day one, January 1st of 1990. And it wasn't hard. So that's the good news about why we, as you guys know, listening to the podcast, we started lighting trade school, because no one fucking does this. They don't know. It takes a lot to fucking make money, right? Besides desire, will, right? All that shit, get up, work 80 hours a week. You got to fucking get educated, right? You got to generate leads, right? You got to service the customer. These are all just normal, basic, foundational things, right? But in order to do that, doing 20 lights a day is beyond an easy, attainable, simple goal, right?
Especially because we just determined it was a week.
Well, that's 20 lights in a week. It's pathetic.
Yeah, you're going back to your first year. I mean, I would say doable. Yes. Is that incredibly ambitious to say I'm going to do 20 lights every single day my very first year in business?
No.
That's way easier said than done.
Well, I think it's
in my first year.
I think if you're, well, you can't say your first year, Matt, because Shane, because you have multiple business that you were doing. You're not dedicating your life. We're talking right now about if you want to get into landscape lighting, what's attainable, how do you do it? Way different than if you're a landscaper, which I taught, 17, 18 years, right? Hardly anybody was a full-time lighting guy. They were landscapers wanting to install better fucking lighting, right? So they did the very minimal to educate themselves, buy a better product. How can they sell it? And they didn't give a shit. I think the purpose of this call on our podcast is for those fucking people that want to wake up and be lighting guys. If you don't want to be a lighting guy and you want to just install fucking lights, don't listen to the fucking podcast, right? Go listen to some other fucking hack in a suit and he can tell you how to fucking light up a goddamn tree. You want to make a fucking $1 million a year? We can teach you and we can show you the path and the roadmap of how to get there.
Yeah, but fuck $1 million a year, because let's be real. These guys starting off, that's an unreasonable.
No, it's not
mindset
unreasonable
for them.
It's not
No,
unreasonable.
for them.
They need to wake the fuck up and sit there and it's 20 lights a day to make a $500,000 a year. 20 lights a fucking day. It's not unrealistic. It's unrealistic for fucking people that don't have the desire to get up and fucking win. That's undesirable. So if you want to be one of our fucking 50 that want to wake up and make $1 million a year, yeah, you're the guys that we really want to fucking talk to. But if you want to just have a secondary, a third business, and you want to make $100K a year, anybody can fucking do that in the United States, for God's sakes. 20 lights a fucking week is beyond fucking pathetic. And that's a goddamn truth. And I don't give a shit, right? If they don't fucking think that it is or not, 20 lights a goddamn week. Jesus Christ, give me a fucking.
Well, I think what Cap is trying to interrupt you and say, no, it's not impossible to make $1 million a year in lighting. Like, everyone could and should be able to do that. And everyone wants $1 million, but I don't think everyone wants to do what it takes to get to $1 million.
Well,
that's what I'm saying is unreasonable.
It's not unreasonable. It's not.
No, it is. Hold on, time out. Stop interrupting. Let me say this. No, listen. A guy that's making $0 is not prepared to make $500K a year. That is unreasonable in every way, shape, or form. The same reason when someone hits a lottery, they're broke by the end of the year. There's a process, is what I'm saying. You can't just go, I'm 0 and I'm going to make 500. You have to level yourself up, your mind, how you're going to obtain that. Otherwise, you simply won't. It's ludicrous to say otherwise. It's not a lottery. Being in business is not a lottery.
Well, you naturally learn that as you go, progress, and learn.
That being said, Matt, I don't disagree with that. 95% of the people are never going to get there. They're never going to get there. There are A players that we hire and then fucking employ. I don't want my A players to be 100% because all they're going to do is quit and fucking be competition. So absolutely do I agree. 95, 96, 97% of the people don't have what it takes to fucking be an entrepreneur, the desire, the will, the commitment. That's fine. I don't want to talk to those 97%. I'm talking to the 3% that know that they can take and extrapolate. So when you just say you can make $100,000 a year, you can make $1 million. Give me the fucking articulate facts and the strategy behind that. I'm saying to make $500,000 a year is 20 lights a day. Now, that's easy to do if you get the goddamn leads. That's a different conversation. I'm ready to make the commitment, do 20 lights a day, but I got to get the leads. Okay, that's a different story. How do I generate leads to translate that into a signed contract, 20 lights a day? Different conversation. But to attain the amount of money that you can make in landscape lighting, I want to like to hear somebody that tell me one other category, one other business that you can do to invest a minimal amount of money. And we're talking tens of thousands of dollars to have the ability to make, if you had the leads, $500,000 your first year with you and 2 fucking guys. You can't. There is no other.
I think we've done that before, right? If you own your truck, because most guys own a truck or whatever, it's like 20 grand or less to really get.
It's fucking nothing. It's
your
literally
tools,
nothing.
a demo kit, and then the drive. But yeah, so okay, 100K a year, 20 lights a week. Then because here's the thing, we're not dealing with the 3% in reality, right? And I don't want too many guys think this is easy. That's the first thing I just said when we started this podcast. So we see them get in. I didn't sell 100 lights this week. I suck. I'm fucking done. Right? We see it all the time. We all do. The original 7 that came. How many of them are still 2 of them are still in lighting, right? Let's be real. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, of course, it's obtainable in terms of if you wake up and this is your shit and I'm going to do this, but just 100K, because most guys make it, I see like 7 months before they literally quit. I can't do this. So Nate just talked about the leads. That's a great question. I'm not making 100K. I'm not selling 20 lights a week. but my phone's not ringing. I'm not getting anything in my ads. Shane, if that was happening to you, you're sitting in front of your desk, not selling 20 lights a week, you just quit and look at your computer and start searching for something else?
I'm not a quitter, Matt.
But what would you do though if Facebook ads weren't working and Google ads weren't working? Is the industry doesn't work, or would you do something different?
I don't think when you're brand new, you can just rely on Facebook or Google ads. You're new. Like, you look at your profile, your reviews, your pictures. There's nothing that tells me you're my guy. I think you have to start off, and be the guy that hustles more than anyone else, is louder than anyone else. Is probably even the cheaper guy, on his first couple dozen installs, until you get pictures and make a name and get referrals. I mean, all of that's, it's a process. It takes a while to climb that up.
Right. So Matt, getting back to those, majority of the people fail. And I think it's because the phone's not ringing. They don't have the leads. They're sitting there and they go back to what they're comfortable with. They go back to power washing. They go back to fucking flipping fucking hamburgers at fucking wherever they're working. Right. Everything changes like it did with me. When I wake up today, I don't have a fucking electrical contracting bid, or I don't have a meeting, right? If I don't go sell lights, I am fucking broke for me and my family. We're losing our fucking house. We can't buy food. So I generated those leads, right, Shane? There wasn't even Facebook when I started, so we didn't have social media. We had to do what these fucking kids, they don't want to do. We had to go knock on doors. We had to go network. We had to go generate the leads. So when you are up against the wall, which every entrepreneur knows this, right? You're going to go out and find those fucking leads. You're going to go out and get friends to go out. Hey, I'll give you a cost of the lighting job, a mother-in-law. You can go out and generate work. But if you just want to go out, no, I can't get a lead. I'm just going to go back to doing what I'm comfortable with, whatever that main job is. And that's the reason these people fail. It's easy to go back to what you're normally doing on a day-to-day basis, right? Because it is hard. Well, it is hard. I'm never going to say landscape lighting is easy. Of course it's hard. Every business has its trials and tribulations, and right, you got to go out there and put effort forward, right? For sure it is. And that's why they fail, right? Because they don't have that ultimate commitment,
So if I call you up, Nate, I know my name, I'm Matt. Hey, Nate, I started landscape lighting this year, man. I did $60,000 in my pocket. Or no, you know what? I did $60,000 top line revenue, made about 25, 30. What would you say to me if I was that guy calling you right now? Nate, what do I do? What is the instant thing? Matt, I know what you told me when I started. Matt, I want you to go do these 3 things. And once you're done with these 3 things, I want you to call me back. What would be those 3 things if you could make them do something that they'd be doing?
Well, obviously, we'll talk about sales, right? Because obviously it's sales that generate the revenue of the company. So you got to have demo kits, right? That's the number one thing I make everybody buy. Because you don't know what you don't know. And when you're a rookie, you don't know anything when it comes to how to sell. So I teach you how to sell your artistic style, getting back to do lighting portraits, right? Like an artist. In order to do that, you have to have a demo kit. You have to have enough lights in a demo kit to represent, take real lights, put it in real locations on a real property to blow the homeowner away. So mock-ups, demonstrations for real people. So that takes a small financial commitment, right? $5,000, you've got enough fucking lights to do that. So the money again is nothing. And then go out and find 10 friends, family, people there's 10 people that that you can go out and go do 10 jobs at cost, right? At cost. Right? Let the homeowners pay for the material. They pay your label directly, so you might make $1 or $2. But I did this, and this is the only people that I've seen really successful in landscape lighting do what I've just said. Right? Go do 10 jobs. Now you have 10 referrals. You know how to bid the job. You know how long it takes to do the labor. You got the material, all the little things that you may have forgotten on bidding. Doesn't matter. You're not losing any money. You're developing your skill sets as far as your philosophy. You start understanding front lighting, back lighting, side lighting, right? and then you start developing it. Now after you've done 10 jobs, you have something that you can build upon. Because if you're brand new in business and you're going out there and you don't have documentation, right, of other people you've done work for, and the homeowner's like, hey, I really like your presentation, can you give me 5 referrals? Well, actually, you're my second fucking job, right? Well, that's a
Third
fucking
thing.
failure right there, right?
Third thing.
So
First, demo kit. Second, 10 at cost jobs. Third,
well, it's really those two things, right, that equal that. And then you can build upon those 10 things. You have referrals, you have photos, you try to go get references, right? You try to get the homeowner to give you a referral base and things like that. But it really is two things, Matt, right?
okay,
And
well,
then
I'm
to
going to
get
tell you the
well,
three
you
that
want the
you told
third
me.
thing was get educated, you know? So
Well, I will say,
buy my
before
book.
Shane answers, it was this, Nate. And I'll never forget it. I tell my guys, buy a demo kit, do 30 demos as fast as humanly fucking possible, whether they want lighting or not, and do 10 at cost jobs.
Yeah.
That's what you told me to do, and I did. I'm pretty sure you told
Yeah.
Shane the same thing, and pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
Shane, does that still work when you're talking to your Glow Geeks guys? Like, is that still what you push? Hey, I want you to go do 30 demos as quick as humanly possible and sell 10 at cost jobs. Does that still work in today's market?
It's exactly what we say. Yep.
So no matter who they are, where they live, what if they live in Alabama?
Why would Alabama be different than Texas, California, Boise, Denver, Scottsdale? Why would that be different?
I don't know. It's often excuse that we all use, right? You don't know my area.
My market's different.
My
right.
market is different.
I don't have. Yeah.
I believe there's some truth to there's obviously difference in markets, but you can't go do 30 demos and sell 10 at house jobs. You can do that in the trailer park. I'm sorry. You just can.
You should not be in business if you can't do that. You do not have the grit that it takes.
Right. What about the guys who say, well, I'm new to this area, Shane? I just moved to Timbuktu. I lived in New York City. Now I'm out here. There's a population of 3,000 people. I don't know anybody. I don't even have a job. I just came out here because I love lighting. I'm going to do lighting. I can't get a demo. What would you say when they tell you that?
Yeah, I mean, we've had that happen before with the Glow Geeker at a market when we open it up, and they, moved from, 3,000 miles away. They literally know no one. And, that's where I guess you kind of test your grit, right? How hungry are you? Do you have a gym membership, right? Is there someone that you meet? Are you in a church network? Can you go join a BNI or a blue collar network type of a scenario? There's somewhere you can go and do demos. Even if it's
hang out at the gas station.
Go do it on a commercial building and send them pictures. Hey, if you guys like the way this looks, I'll give you a quote.
And wouldn't you think that whoever moved to Timbuktu, I think it's rare that if I'm moving to Timbuktu, it's because I have a family member there. I have friends that are there, right? Whatever job that I might currently be in, right? I know those people. I got referred. So I think that when you don't just get up and move to Timbuktu and not a soul.
It's rare.
It gets
that's
back
what we hear, right?
Well, I know, but we know that's not reality. So I think reality gets back to the top 3 things, which I told both of you, right? Go out and do 30 demos for people that you know. You're not doing 30 demos for people you don't know for the most part. Friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, rich people, whoever that you know, right? You're going to go out and do those demos. Those demos then, those 30 demos stem from fucking 6. Because when those people see the outdoor lighting, right, and blows their mind, which this is another thing that the demo does, not only does it, create an environment for the homeowner wanting to buy it, starts giving you, instilling confidence in you, understanding that the homeowner, no homeowner wants more than 10 lights, right? And in your mind, it's going to take 30 or 40, and there's no fucking way words can sell that job. So now when you put 30 or 40 lights out in that demo, you see the expression on the homeowner's face, the unbelievable joy that they have, and it gives you confidence. And now they'll sit there and tell their friends and family, and then you start building upon this, right? And then it equates to 10 jobs.
Well, fuck. Here's another little bit of advice from Nate that he never tells me the full sentence. I didn't know it was only supposed to be people you knew. I mean, I literally was calling pool cleaners and everybody. Hey, do you know anybody that I was putting on people who I knew were on vacation. I used to do the accidental setting up for a demo when they came out and be like, "Hey, Bill, nice to meet you." And they're like, "Who the fuck is Bill?" I'm like, "Oh my God, is this not the right house? I'm doing a demo." So, I didn't hear that I was supposed to know these people. Like, that's new information to me.
Yeah, well, you don't have to, and you know that. So, but yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's hard, right? I don't think it's hard
I
to
don't think it's
generate
hard.
those things. But again, it gets back to what we've said, and you guys have said it, and I've said it. It's that commitment and desire that I've got to go out and do this, else I'm not going to be able. I'm going to lose my house, right?
Well, yeah. And how about this? If you can't convert 30 people on a free service, how the fuck are you ever going to sell them a job? You literally can't sell a free. It literally costs you. I don't even care if you look outside. Like, that's just insane to me. So I just want to hammer on it because I work with a lot of guys, Shane. We all work with a lot of guys, and they don't take this to heart. They're like, well, I did 10. Oh, I don't know enough people. But like, that was the drive. When Nate told me, I didn't know Nate from Adam at that point. Bought his book on Amazon. He told me, Matt, this is how you win. Who was I to argue? Okay, I've never done this. I'm just going to listen and do exactly what he says. Now, again, sometimes he forgot little bits and pieces, and actually some of the things worked out really great. But I think it's easy to make excuses when you're losing.
So what's funny, Matt, is if the demos, which I preach demos, if they didn't work, you think I would still fucking do it? You think I want to go out there and do a demo?
Well, I thought you just wanted to sell lifetime lighting demo kits.
No, I absolutely do not. But anyway, so demos work. That is the fucking key. That is the recipe. And time again, it works. And we all know this. We could go on and have actually, that'd be a good podcast. Probably go out there and we probably have all of us have our top 10 demos that turned from maybe a zero light or a 30 light job into a 500 or 1,000 light job. We might have tons of those fucking stories, tons, right? Yeah. It's just, and that's why the demos work. And whether they work when you're a rookie, they work and I'm going to say I'm not a fucking rookie, but they still work for me. Yeah. Right? It's difficult to sell 300 fucking lights, right? Sure. For the most part, right? But it's easy with the demo. So, but yeah, that's the key. That's the accelerator. I mean, if you just think about it, we've talked about this before. You want to go from here to New York, you can get in a car, you can take a train, you can take 6 days, you can hitchhike, or you can get on a jet plane. The demo kit's the jet plane. We're the jet fucking plane. We can get you from here to there fucking fast.
All right. Long one here. In closing, Shane, I call you up. Hey, Shane, I am about to start my landscape lighting career. What are the three? If I only do 3 things this quarter, what do I do?
If you're starting first, I mean, you need to learn design. You need to get educated. I mean, that's what we're doing on these podcasts, the Illuminati Lounge and Lighting Trade School. If you got $47 a month, well, you can learn from some of the best in the industry 1 hour a week. That would be a no-brainer. Getting a demo kit, absolute, necessary in my book. If we don't do demos, I mean, we're selling far less fixtures. Can I sell a job without doing a demo? Yeah, of course. Could I have when I first started? Not as easily, that's for sure. Can I upsell and get way more fixtures every time we do a demo? Yeah, it's worth it. And what was your other question? 3 things.
3 things. That's what you got. Join, get educated,
demo. Get out there and shake some hands, kiss some babies. I think just action breeds results. People see you online. You're posting pictures of doing demos almost every night. Like, people are starting to match you with this guy knows lighting, and magic kind of happens, when you do that 30 times.
Awesome. All right.
Well, I think just to add a little bit to what Shane said is, when you think about the demo kit in the beginning, don't think of it as an educational tool to get educated, because that was the first thing that Shane said, get educated. So if you can buy my book, do whatever, get on the Illuminati Lounge, tap into us, right? You still have to take that knowledge, right? And then when you buy a demo kit, think of it as a learning kit. You're going to take that demo kit, set it up at your house, your parents' house, your mother's house, your neighbor's house, and you're going to take what you've learned, right, in theory, and then you're going to apply real lights and then prove the theory right or wrong. Front light, back light, side light. Understand, right, the 3 things it takes to do lighting, which is, we call it the art of lighting, which, lighting only does 3 things. As obviously us 3 know that, right? It absorbs, reflects, or transmits. And if you don't understand that, you'll never be a lighting guy. So the demo kit / learning kit elevates your fucking educational path 1,000 times faster.
Amen.
Right?
All right. If you've made it this far, you need to go to lightingtradeschool.com right now. Sign up for the 3 Amigo training happening next month or in February 2026, depending on when you're hearing this. You can check out all of our various websites and things below if you want to work personally with me or with Shane or Nate. Check them out below. Have a great week, boys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, guys. And there's just a couple spots left, like Matt said, 2 or 3 spots.
There we go.